بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. All praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has given us another day in our life. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make this day as a source of khair for us. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from all types of evil. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. When a believer wakes up in the morning, this individual, he decides that which place of him in the hereafter he is going to nourish. Either his actions are nourishing the place in Jannah for him, or his actions are nourishing a place in hellfire for him. And all of these actions that a person does, they all connect to one thing, as the Rasul alayhi salatu wassalam described. That when a person wakes up in the morning, all the body parts of a person, they submit to the tongue. And they say to the tongue that if you are straight, all of us will be straight. And if you have crookedness inside you, if you're not straight, then we also will go astray. So that's the focal point of an individual's behavior. Because this tongue can be one kalima, one statement can bring you into the faith, and one statement can take you out of your faith. One statement can make people friends, and one statement can also make them enemy. One statement can be the means of bringing people closer to you, and one statement can be the means of people going away from you. So it's a very critical, as the ulama mentions, jirmuhu saghir wa jurmuhu kabir, al-lisan. The flesh is very small, but the actions that produce from this flesh are very big if they're not maintained and if they're not monitored. And Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when he was addressing his companion Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiyallahu anhu, two pieces of advice. When Mu'adh radiyallahu anhu was appointed by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to travel to Yemen and to teach the people of Yemen, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave him, from the many advices, two pieces of advice were the last advice, the farewell advice of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The first thing was, Ahsin khuluqik ya Mu'adh. O Mu'adh, make sure you beautify your character in front of people. And number two, you safeguard your tongue from people. And then Mu'adh radiallahu anhu said, Ya Rasulullah, are we going to be accountable of what we speak? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Thakilatka ummuka ya Mu'adh. May your mother cry over you, O Mu'adh. Majority of the people who would be going into hellfire on the day of judgment, it will be due to their tongue. Illa hasaidu al-sinatihim. It's the misusage of their tongue. This will be the access point for majority of the ummah going into hellfire. So today we analyze our entire day, our communication with people, our conversation on its own. How do we speak about other individuals? How do we speak about other people? And then how do we speak to other people? Two things. Number one, you're conversating to someone. What's your behavior? What's your way of speech? And number two is, when you are speaking, what do you say about other individuals? Because those, every single thing, مَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ إِلَّا لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ. As Allah mentions in the Quran, not a single statement comes out from our mouth except that there is a watcher, there is a writer. There is an angel that is appointed to document it. And many of times we advocate for people to be lenient, where on the other side we are the most harsh people. Right? We advocate for people that, brother, speak with politeness or speak with this. But on the other side, when we speak to them, our behavior towards them is the exact opposite. So these are the grounds where love and muhabba, they develop. Our criticism to everything can take people away. And the criticizer's tongue is always sharp. It's always cutting someone. This is why Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the one who does not speak, he is successful. Man samata naja. The one who keeps his mouth shut. You don't have to have an opinion in everything. You don't have to contribute to every conversation. A lot of times the person, he is having this thought in his mind that if I don't say anything, what opinion people are going to have about me and how I am going to show my smartness in front of people. But the reality is, the more you stay quiet, the wise and the more smart people will think. Because when you open your tongue, and this tongue, it becomes without any limits. So what happens? Your bad characters are exposed by your own tongue. When you speak to someone, your speech is determining who you actually are. What's inside you. And what do you think, what opinion you have about other individuals. Imam Shafi'i rahmatullah alayhi says, ما إن ندمت على السكوت مرة ولكن ندمت على الكلام مرارا. I never regretted in my life why did I stay quiet, but I always regret why did I talk. So the person who is able to control this, to manage it, to make sure that its usage is right, this person has become successful. This person has found the true quality of life. Why? Because he will be less miserable in his life. Many of times we say things and we move on. But the hearts that we've hurt, the people who we have hurt, we don't think about that. And these are the same people, because of hurting them, we find difficulties in our life and we find problems in our life. This is why I always say this. Whenever you are going through difficult times, think about who you have hurt in your life. Who you have hurt in your life. And if Allah has given you the opportunity and access and ability, ask Him for forgiveness. ما أصاب من مصيبة إلا ما كسبت أيديكم ويعفو عن كثير. Allah says, whatever calamity comes upon you, it's your own earning. It's because what you have done. So we have to be very careful, very mindful. We don't know how many people we damage, and in lieu of that damage, we are being damaged in our life. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us protection. We ask Allah to save us and give us the ability to utilize our tongue for the right purpose, for the sake of Allah and for the sunnah of His Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Jazakumullahu khairan. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب